Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a video covering the Truthear Nova. This is a 4BA 1DD hybrid, new from Truthear, a company that has been making some pretty damn good bangers, particularly at a lower price point. I've got the Truthear Critical Zero on the left, which you guys know is a double dynamic driver. Very good, has been on the budget Wallhack tier list for since its release. And I think that we've really created a lot of hype around the Truthear Critical Zero. I've heard nothing but good things from people that have enjoyed the Zero, except maybe the ergonomics of the fit. In looking at the Truthear Nova, it is in the $150 range. So does that price correlate to 3 times the performance? And I think it really depends on what you're looking for. These are 2 very different tunings and 2 very different feels in game. I think the Nova does edge out and make it to the cut of the Wallhack certified tier list, but it's going to fall under the Truthear Zero for me, and I'll definitely explain why. To show you guys, though, what is in the box and what you get with the Truthear Nova, you guys can see I've got the default cable. It's kind of like a shoestring braided cable. It's light and very comfortable, but it does tangle and knot rather easily, so keep that in mind. It is a 2-pin cable, and it does not have a removable termination. This is a 3.5. Overall, though, a pretty comfortable cable again. The faceplate of the Truthear Nova is pretty cool. It's got that iridescent shine to it, a little sparkle, and it's got some very nice blue layering. I think it looks pretty good, and the ergonomics of it in general are slightly more ergonomic than the Truthear Critical Zero. A pretty nice resin shell with a nice looking faceplate. These are the default foam tips as well. I had a lot of messages that the foam tips seem to work better in game compared to the silicone. I didn't notice much of a difference between the 2 tips in game for competitive purposes, but overall I did like the foam tips just a little bit more. And once you remove the waifu sleeve from the box, you guys can get into the internals. You'll see that there is a pretty nice carrying case, and it does have a pretty heavy-duty clip here. So if you wanted to clip it onto a backpack or a keychain or what have you, you could. And then it's got a wide array of ear tips. It's got a more narrow bore, a wider bore. It's got the foam tips. A nice little package here from Truthear in terms of the internals of the box. Before I get into the differences of the Zero and the Nova for gaming-related purposes, again, I do think that the Zero does edge out the Nova. It's a very different tuning. The Nova, you will notice, almost instantaneously feels a little bit more open, and things within the range, including things that are kind of falling into that mid-bass region, become less emphasized. The sound space is not as intimate, with things not being as readily detected that are happening in a distance, including gunshots or deep thumpy footsteps and things like that. Overall, though, the Nova does have good imaging, good depth, good verticality, and overall provides a really nice competitive experience. Again, just one that feels lighter, brighter, more airy, and a little more open. Getting to this clip here in Apex, you can see that in a very hectic scenario, I'm able to micromanage my health. I'm able to hear where everything is happening around me. I'm able to hear people that are walking on the building while hearing the people outside, and then in my head come up with conclusions and calculations as to how and best to position myself to do as much damage as possible and get out of the situation with my teammates' banners as well as my own life intact, which is very important for Apex Legends. The Nova, I think, performs quite well, again, just differently than the Truthear Critical Zero. And getting to some of these clips here in a team deathmatch in Valorant, I do instantaneously note that even just walking on this deeper material, it's more readily noticeable and a little bit more elevated on the Truthear Critical Zero than the Nova. The Nova, you put this on and the sound stage just becomes more open, and it's a more sterile feeling IEM in comparison to the Truthear Critical Zero. Some people might like that, but I think that does affect the stage and the urgency of the things that are happening around you. Continuing on with other clips, you can see that the Nova performs quite well in terms of its imaging. The depth is quite good in terms of just a 360 space. But overall, the Zero just instantaneously feels better. It doesn't feel as though I am straining to hear certain things. It's just more of an emphasized slap in terms of where the sound cues are happening, including footsteps as well as gunshots throughout the space. So the Nova is good, and it will fall on the Wallhack certified tier list. But again, keep in mind, it does fall below the Truthear Critical Zero. I still recommend the Zero. I do think that it's a better tuning for tack shooters, and I also think it's a better tuning for Apex Legends as well. Again, if you're looking, though, for a brighter, more sterile sound, the Truthear Nova is quite good still for gaming-related purposes. To show you guys what I paired in my testing in comparing the Nova with the Truthear Critical Zero, I did use the Fiio K11, and I want to bring that up because for its price point, it could be a damn good solid amp DAC option for a lot of you guys looking for one. Okay, so the package for the K11 is actually quite nice. Everything looks pretty nice quality, particularly at $130. The amp DAC itself is something that doesn't take up a lot of space, and overall quality feels pretty good. In terms of what you get out of the K11 and whether or not you need one, it's hard to say with everyone's onboard audios being different, but the Fiio K11 definitely beats out my onboard audio for sure. What you're getting here is a pretty clean sounding amp DAC. It's a little bit on the clinical side, but I don't find it to be sterile feeling. I don't find it to be quite to some of that topping level sound that you get from some of their amp DACs. But in terms of the depth, the verticality, the stage, everything sounds great for gaming. I find I get a little bit more depth on this than I do get on similarly priced USB amp DAC dongles. The K11 has great functionality and plenty of power to power any of your IEMs like the Nova or the Truthear Critical Zero. I do feel that there are gains getting to higher price tiers depending on the amp DAC. The SMSL DO400, the topping DX9, using my higher end stuff, the Burst and Solos 3X GT paired with the shit Bifrost, you really do get different levels of space, timbre, note accuracy, air in between the bass region or the upper region. I found this to lack a little bit of air in the upper region and some things feeling a little bit hot like cymbal strikes. Overall, I think that moving from this to the DO400, which has a warmer sound, kind of, typical of the SMSL, the SMSL did have more air, higher resolution, but that's $400 compared to $130. For what you're getting here, it really is a solid performer paired with something like the Zeros or the Novas. The Fiio K11 is not something that takes up a lot of desk real estate. You guys can see my hand is bigger than the amp DAC. It's not that high, wide, or long. In terms of the knob here, it does have well-defined steps, and it doesn't wiggle or jiggle. It feels solid build quality. You can circle through all the settings and control the brightness of the screen, the different features and functions for the RGB if you want to have it one solid color or filter through how I have it now. And the RGB actually does look pretty good with the Fiio logo and is pretty bright in a dark room. And you can go through your outputs, and it will show you your firmware version and all of those sorts of goodies. To get back to the volume, you would just long press again, and then you can see that the knob is very quick in changing the volume, and the display is very responsive, and the VA display is actually very crisp. Getting to the back, and again, we have a 635 and a 4.4. The 4.4 is, I believe, 1,400 milliwatts of power at 32 ohm load, so anything in terms of IEMs is easily powered by this particular amp DAC. Getting to the back side, we've got the power in, the DC 12 volt. You've got your USB in to connect to your computer, optical in, coax in and out, and then your line out. So guys, that is going to be it for this one. The Truthear Nova will join the Wallhack certified tier list, but it's going to fall behind a few of the other options. Again, if you've been interested in the Nova, could be worth a try. Just know that I don't think what a lot of people wanted with it absolutely crushing the Truthear Critical Zero. For gaming purposes, I don't think that it gets to that level. They're both very good for gaming. I just give the edge to the Truthear Critical Zero. If anybody needed a budget-tiered amp DAC, the Fiio K11, again, was quite good, particularly paired with the Nova as well as the Zero. Again, of course, it has limitations in and above its price range. But for anybody who's on a very large budget, it definitely provides a solid option for IEMs in this range. I hope it helped, guys. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.